Her supporters are claiming that her record as an education advocate has prepared her for a seat in the U.S. Senate. But is she really cut out for the job? We haven't even heard her speak. In the Pundit Pit today, Andrea Tanteros. She seems nice, but who knows? She's a political analyst and FoxNews.com contributor. David Callahan is nice, co-founder and senior fellow of Democrats, I imagine, and Julie Rodzinski, former Corzine communications director, and Tyler Harbor, Republican pollster. First off, Andrea, do you believe that Caroline Kennedy, some of the blowback that she's experienced right now is just, and the blowback she's getting is from Democrats?
Yes, it's absolutely true. Look, she's just another Upper East Side rich kid that's bounced her way from cocktail party to cocktail party that wants to turn New York into a principality. Look, she wouldn't be anywhere without her father. Cuomo, you could argue, wouldn't be anywhere without his father. Clinton wouldn't be anywhere out without her, well, daddy.
Husband.
Daddy. So that's why she was senator of New York. Come on, we have serious problems here. We've had a brain drain, a budget drain. We need somebody who knows how to get things done.
And David, on top of that, a lot of people are getting tired of this dynasty, whether it's Bush, Clinton, Cuomo, Kennedy. Can we move on?
Well, let me just say about Caroline Kennedy, she knows how to get things done. This is a woman who helped raise $300 million for New York City's public schools. You try to raise $300 million for New York City public schools.
All right.
It's not easy.
I will.
This woman is a mover and a shaker. She can bring home the bacon for New York, for sure.
Julie, there's a lot of Democrats. I mean, Gary Ackerman, the longtime congressman here, calls her basically J-Lo and just wants to know why she is qualified. And now Shelley Silver, the Speaker of the House here in New York, said, I am totally against this. This is Mayor Bloomberg's brainstorm.
Well, you know, look, I'm a Democrat and I live in New York, and I'd love to see my next senator actually say something before they get the appointment. I would love for Caroline Kennedy to come out and stop speaking not through surrogates, but actually to come out and speak directly to the voters. I understand she's in a tough situation because she's only appealing to a constituency of one, and that's the Governor Patterson. But still, as a voter, as a Democrat, I would love for Caroline Kennedy to come out and say what exactly she stands for. She may be the most brilliant human being out there, but her staff her staff is kind of palinizing her. They're hiding behind. She's hiding behind the staff now. It's not cool. It's
Which
not,
even Governor Palin says was a mistake early on.
Right,
As she
and
talks
it's a mistake for Caroline to do that too.
Tyler, is this good news for Republicans who want a Republican as a New York senator? Might this be an opening in 2 years?
You know, this may be a soft seat. You really have a situation where you're bringing on a star. You're bringing on someone that has no policy experience whatsoever. And the bottom line here is, if they want a star, they need to appoint a star. If they want someone with experience, they need to look somewhere else. And yes, that does make the seat soft, but I think it's a stretch to say that New York has the potential of electing a Republican senator. I think that's even a stretch for me to say.
I think their best hope might be a Republican governor. We'll debate that some other time. Meanwhile, scandals going on so far, and the Democratic Party hasn't really taken over like they can and are about to in a couple of weeks. But how many more Blagojeviches or Rangels do we need before the party starts living up to its promise that Pelosi put out there, that it's going to be a very clean and the cleanest ever and the most ethically high standing in the history of this country? It's not happening so far. We're back with our Pundit Pit, and you know him well. Julie Rodzinski's right in the middle. David Callahan's right around her. Tyler Harbor's in the middle, and Andrea Tanteros to my immediate left. Andrea, we'll start with you.
No scandals yet in the
No
pit.
scandals yet. But now we understand that Governor Blagojevich and the relationship with Barack Obama. Obama has done his internal review, and it turns out they're clean. A 4-day investigation. Can we turn the page?
Well, so they say. When you're in a presidential transition office, your emails don't apply to the Freedom of Information Act, which means that you can ask for their emails and you can make them public. So if Barack Obama really stands for change, I encourage him to be transparent and present all the emails that have been happening while he's been in this presidential transition stage. He hasn't done it. So if he's not going to be the status quo, if he's not just going to come out and say everything he stands for, you know, then who really is the guy? I mean, he says that he's clean, but how do we really know?
Wait a second. The U.S. Attorney himself said that Barack Obama was clean. There was never any implication from the U.S. Attorney's office.
But then why release this today?
Because
why
he was asked to. Because the U.S. Attorney asked him.
There was no injunction. There was no.
Excuse me. Let me just say this.
In press terms, when campaigns and elected officials put things out on holidays, Friday afternoon,
he was
the
asked
dump
to
when
wait.
the media is.
He was asked to wait by the U.S. Attorney. 100%.
Julie, there's
he
no
wanted
injunction or impediment legally. They could have. There's no gag order.
So, David, I want you to get in here, but do you think the 4-day investigation of yourself will ever make people feel as though there's nothing there?
Well, they've been looking into this from the moment the story broke, so it's not a 4-day investigation. But let me just take a step back here. In the spirit of Christmas generosity, I want to say something about the politicians. Look, corruption is a bipartisan thing. Ted Stevens one day, Charlie Rangel the next day.
Sure.
But in the grand scheme of things, these politicians are much less corrupt than they were 50 years ago. Our politics is cleaner. We forget this when we get caught up in these.
Well, that's not a good, that's not a good sign.
Look, in 1994, when Republicans came to power, they came to power under similar circumstances. There were scandals. They came to power and said, we're going to clean Washington up. In 2006, Democrats come to power saying the same thing. We're going to drain this swamp. We're going to make Washington better. Now, throughout those years between 1994 and to current, you see a number of laws outlawing lunches with lobbyists, outlawing a number of loopholes in the lobbyist system, and now you have a situation where lobbyists are so far removed from the process they may not even be effective. So now we're down to the core. Now we've removed all these layers and we have just the core, and it's all about greed. And now the Republicans and the Democrats both looking at themselves and saying, hey, you know, maybe we have a problem here. The earmarks are still leading to this.
Here's the other thing, Julie, I want to bring up. I don't think the American public, even if there is something there, I don't think the American public wants anything to do with this, because they need Barack Obama's administration, Republicans and Democrats, to hit the ground running. I don't think we could afford to be mocked up in some Illinois scandal.
I agree, and I agree, but there's nothing to come clean about because, again, U.S. Attorney Fitzgerald, first of all, asked Barack Obama to not release the report until yesterday, so that's his schedule. That's not Barack Obama's. While his own investigation was going on, did not want to get in the middle of the investigation. And secondly, look, Rod Blagojevich was going to break the law no matter whether the laws were on the books or not. This guy was clearly determined to be corrupt.
It's true Fitzgerald asked them to wait, but there was no impediment, no injunction, no gag order. Barack Obama could have come out and released it.
He should have told the U.S. Attorney to go scratch,
and he was going to do it. Him and Rahm Emanuel chose selectively to have develop lockjaw.
He could not have gone to Fitzgerald and said, "I'm sorry, U.S. Attorney, you're doing your investigation, but go scratch. I'm going to release this right now."
David, here's the one problem. The one problem is that Patrick Fitzgerald said something interesting for legal experts. Blagojevich, who we thought would be long gone by now, doesn't have to go anywhere, because if they're going to use this impeachment to get rid of him, they can't use any of his stuff. They can't use any of his evidence. Leave that for me. That has nothing to do with you. So this guy's going to wait it out. He's got nowhere to go. He's got no job waiting for him.
Right, and he's going to wait it out in order to keep collecting that paycheck.
Which he complains so much about on the wiretaps. I'm only making $171,000.
Well, and that's something important here, which is these people are making chump change compared to what highly ambitious people in the private sector are making. So, I mean, we got to, as we beat up on the politicians, let's keep that in mind. They're working very hard.
It's all about
not making a lot of money.
It's just amazing how much they spend to get those low-paying jobs.
Exactly. It's the power for them. It's never been the money.
You guys not into power. Me, I'm into power. But thanks so much for joining us. Great debate, and have a great